Oh, look at these buildings. They're really pretty. So this is actually the birthplace of Stonewall Jackson. Look at it now. You know, it wasn't like that then. On this site stood the birthplace of Thomas J. Stonewall Jackson, Lieutenant General, born January 21st, 1824, died May 10th, 1863. And this was erected by the Stonewall Jackson chapter number 1333, United Daughters of the Confederacy. It's not open, it's like a recreation though. You can see the fireplace. It's hard to believe all this stuff existed, and now it's just the way it is now.
Thomas Jonathan Jackson's story begins in the hills of Western Virginia, where hardship came early and stayed. His father, Jonathan Jackson, died of typhoid fever in 1826, leaving his wife, Julia Neal Jackson, with 3 young children, Elizabeth, Warren, and Thomas. A fourth, Laura Ann, was born soon after his death. By 1830, Julia arranged for Thomas and Laura to live with her late husband's brother, Cummins Jackson, at Jackson's Mill near Weston. Thomas's grandfather, Edward, once lived there. Cummins, a hard-working miller and farmer, became the strongest influence of Thomas's youth. When Julia died the next year, her children were left orphans. At the mill, young Thomas learned discipline and self-reliance. He herded sheep, drove oxen, and harvested crops, studying by the flickering light of pine knots. His older brother Warren died of tuberculosis in 1841, another loss that left a lasting mark. A year later, Thomas earned an appointment to West Point, where sheer determination pushed him from struggling cadet to near the top of his class. He later became an instructor at the Virginia Military Institute. In 1853, he married Eleanor Ellie Junkin, who died just 14 months later giving birth, along with their only son, who died the same day. In 1857, he married Mary Anna Morrison, with whom he had 2 children, another infant daughter who died, and Julia Thomas Jackson Christian, his only surviving child. Though she died at 26 of typhoid fever, leaving her 2 children behind, repeating the same cycle of loss her father had known. The death and loss Thomas endured in his life was tragic. When the Civil War began, Thomas became known as Stonewall Jackson, a name that would echo through history. In 1863, during the Battle of Chancellorsville, he was accidentally shot by his own men. His left arm was amputated, but pneumonia soon set in. On May 10, 1863, at just 39, he whispered his final words. According to his wife, Mary Anna Jackson, and Dr. Hunter McGuire, the Confederate surgeon who attended him at Guinea Station, Virginia, Jackson's final words were spoken just before he died on May 10, 1863. As his breathing grew shallow, he seemed to drift in and out of consciousness, giving soft commands as if still on the battlefield. His tone suddenly changed, becoming peaceful. Then his final words came clearly and calmly. "Let us cross over the river and rest under the shade of the trees." These were his exact words, recorded immediately afterward by Dr. McGuire and confirmed by Mary Anna. They've since become some of the most famous last words in American history, seen as deeply symbolic of both his faith and his longing for peace after so much war. He was buried in Lexington, Virginia, while his amputated arm rests near the battlefield. Today, we are going to walk the same grounds he once walked, a long time ago.
Well, we made it. We're at Stonewall Jackson's homestead, also called Jackson's Mill. What city are we in?
I'm not sure.
I'm not even sure what city we're in. I'll put it up on the...
half an hour ago.
We're near Weston, West Virginia, but I'll put up on the screen what city we're in. But it's a beautiful drive in. It's just such a gorgeous area. And this river right here is the West Fork River, and it's just really pretty, as you can see. But we're gonna go in and check out the homestead of where Stonewall Jackson grew up, which we actually did a video on Stonewall Jackson's mother, but we did go by his mother's grave.
Yeah.
It was really interesting. Someone who served under Stonewall actually made her a headstone and stuff, like a long time later, and he knew how much that Stonewall Jackson had talked about his mother, and he actually made a special trip to where she was buried and got her a stone erected after Stonewall Jackson had died. So he had an impact on people around him.
Yeah, amazing story in itself, wasn't it?
Yeah. And Stonewall Jackson's, his whole beginning was tragic. He lost so many people close to him that he really loved, but a lot of people I've noticed in history use that as a strength to do something amazing with their lives rather than just let it crush them.
Pressure makes diamonds.
Yeah. So, all right, let's head in. The mill area, but I think these are actually cottages right here that you can rent, which is pretty cool.
Yes, it is. Had different names on them, like Lewis Cottage.
Yeah, it had different names on them, like Lewis Cottage and things like that.
Right down here's the good stuff, though. Look at the little pond. That is pretty. Little cat tails. It is. Down there's the mill. Old log cabins. I love this stuff. That is beautiful. Look at that. That is breathtakingly gorgeous. Uh-oh, I see something. Oh, I thought you could walk out on it. Looks like you could, at one point, back in the day, walk out there. And here we go. Aha! So we were using that. There's the chute, there's the intake right there. This is going to be cool. This is going to be really cool. There's the gate. Look at that. You just open the gate and the water goes in and goes crazy. That is amazing. Old school technology, guys. Really old school technology. Beautiful though, look at this. You opening it?
Yes. You actually found us at a perfect time. I have a private group in there, but you are welcome to join in if you'd like.
Really? Perfect timing. I want to see this. Wow. Blake's Mill, Blaker's Mill.
Oh, you stirred? Hold the lever.
Watch it go. Turn it on. Perfect timing.
You're welcome to rub that between your fingers if you'd like.
Was that cornmeal?
Yep, that's what's coming out right now.
That is amazing. That is really amazing.
Go ahead and pass the cup around.
That is absolutely amazing. Just powered by water. Look at that. The cornmeal falling down into the bag. Oh, you're fine. You're fine. That's amazing, isn't it? You can see the gears down in there turning. Baker gristmill cornmeal for sale. That is really cool. Look at the fireplace in here. Okay. Hello. Hi. Of course, you know we got to go check this out. Have to. Wow. Another big fireplace. That's a barrel there now. Look at the size of those gears. Wooden teeth. That is amazing, isn't it? Old school tech. This is really cool. Needs a little more light in here, but other than that, look at it. That is crazy. A spare or an old one maybe. Wonder what all the little numbers are.
You're looking at a mill record. Did you just do it? I just pulled the thing that let the brain out. You go.
Built 1795. Whoa. Look at that. The Baker Mill built at Alderson 1795. That is really cool.
Is that Greenbrier?
Look at that. That is really cool. Alright, let's go check out some more stuff.
It's just like this.
That was cool. Now let me go find Heather. Wonder how low it drains the little pond. Alright. Seem to have lost my wife. Blacksmith shop. Well, where'd she go? Okay, I found her. Okay, it comes out from there, goes underground.
Yeah, I didn't like read the whole thing.
I see some kind of monument up there. We'll have to go check that out in a minute. Jackson's Mill, 1837. Wow. The sawmill shed, located 30 feet upstream from the Jackson grist mill, was a long one-story structure with a sloping roof. The Jackson sawmill played a significant role in the growth of the region. It was the first sawmill in the area, and for a time the only source of sawn timber. Produced boards for the construction of the grist mill and provided lumber for many of the frame buildings in the vicinity, including the community known as Weston. After Cummins died in 1850, the sawmill was probably never again operated. It stood until at least 1886, but the mill shed was probably dismantled shortly after that date. The fate of the saw is unknown. A similar saw, acquired from Forrest Hammer of Franklin, West Virginia, was moved to Jackson's Mill in 1949 and is now housed in Jackson Mill Museum. Look at that, though. I have no idea what that was.
Real slow to that top part. Bit slow.
That is really cool.
Let's see this a minute, actually.
Yeah, gotta look in the windows if we can, see if we can see anything. All kinds of old tools and saws and all kinds of stuff in there.
Edward Jackson, Stonewall's grandfather, came to West Fork Valley with his family in 1801 and built a log grist mill at the bend on the east side of the West Fork River. Sometime within the next few years, milling was an important industry in the frontier economy, and Edward's mill was very successful. When his son Cummins took possession after Edward's death in 1828, he acquired the best part of his father's legacy. Cummins Jackson had learned the milling trade well, recognizing the West Fork's powerful current threatened to destroy his inheritance. He rebuilt the mill on the river's west bank, the inside of the bend. He retained only the machinery and foundation timber of Edwards Mill. The new mill was constructed of a combination of hand-hewn timber and boards produced at the sawmill. Unfortunately, the new mill burned within a few years. Undaunted, Cummins rebuilt the mill you see today at the same site in 1841. This mill was built on a foundation of native stone. The 2.5-story building is 40 square feet and made of lumber produced at the sawmill. Power was provided by 2 water wheels situated beneath the first floor. Now this over here, we'll take a look at the sign, see what this is. Right across from the mill. This is the newest artesian cabin in the historic district. It is also one most closely connected to the history of Jackson's Mill in terms of location. From photographs taken in the 1880s, we know that in addition to the barn and the old mill building, there was a small building located next to the barn. This building was due in large measure once more of a generous donation by Gene Hinter Doick Ruckman, and was completed in the fall of 2020 with the help of Barnwood Builders. We have since added the walls, front porch, ramp, windows, etc. So basically they use this for their demonstrations, camps, tours, etc. It's really starting to come down, the rain. Too bad we didn't think to bring an umbrella. Is there anything over there?
No, just a sign saying what it is and 4-H camp. This is the home site.
Oh yeah?
Right here. This tablet marks the site of the boyhood home of General Stonewall Jackson, a soldier of great military genius and renown, a man resolute, pure, and Christian character, died May 10th, 1863. Wounds received at the Battle of Chancellorsville.
So this is a honeybees in here. It says honeybees in area, do not approach or disturb. Don't have to tell me but once.
Amazing, Heather.
Those are bees.
Yeah, beehives. Stonewall Jackson walked this very ground, farmed it. You know they had farm over there. Look, something's been changed here. Stone's been added. A stone wall.
Yeah. So I think these are all just you know, like
A home, pioneer cabin.
built by Henry McWhorter, a Revolutionary soldier in 1793 at McWhorter's Mill, now Jane Lew, and used as a home, school, church, and post office. It was moved here at its present site by its descendants in 1927. That's pretty cool.
Yes, it is. Look in there. You can see good, too. Put the camera right up against the... There you go. Look at that fireplace.
Looks like you could get in there.
Look at that monstrous fireplace. It's like a third of the cabin.
Eh.
Yeah, I know.
Why do they have stuff like this and then everything's closed?
Well, some people steal all the...
I know, but what's... like you can't see anything.
I know. But I mean, look at that stuff. Some of that's probably worth some money. Somebody would steal that if it was open. Somebody would rob this place. Look at the old bed too.
No, but you can't really get a sense of like
Yeah,
how they lived if you can't get in there, you know?
Watch here. Put the camera up here. Let me show you a trick. Can't see squat, can you? Watch. Clears right up.
Yeah.
There's a time capsule buried here, Heather. It says the McWhorter time capsule buried here August 14th, 1993 by the McWhorter Cabin Bicentennial Committee to be opened July 26th in 2042.
It's pretty cool.
It is. That is amazing history here. I love this place. Ooh, come here. You can see the fireplace real good. I'm getting all excited. Ooh, come here. That's a good trick though, ain't it? That is a really good trick.
Look at the leaves. It almost feels like fall even though it was 83 yesterday.
Yeah, and you think some of these trees pretty old. Some of these great big ones got to be really old. That big one right behind the sawmill.
Wonder what these big, huge, massive houses are back there.
I don't know. Would you like to live on this little piece of dirt though?
Are you gonna go record whatever? Oh, that's just another. These are all just example cabins.
Oh, is it? Yeah, it looks newer.
Yeah, they use them for.
Too. It's rich people cabin.
They use them for like recreations and stuff.
Now this is an old looking one. And I don't know if you guys noticed this. You see the gap in between? That was actually very common back in the day. They'd use that for several different things actually. A lot of times they put the kitchen in one and the housing in the other, so that when you're cooking you don't, you know, heat your house up ridiculous levels in the summertime. It's furnished too. Got some stuff in it. Looks like some sort of I can't think of the name, making cloth. What is it? A loom. Yeah. Different stuff over there. But this is really cool. Look at the old plows and junk. This one's kind of bowed out just a little bit. Getting a little age. Ooh, big spinning wheel. Look at that. Very cool. Very cool. Kind of raining on me, so, you know, we don't care. 13% left on my battery. Can we do it? Stonewall Jackson's boyhood home. Check that out. All kind of really low on battery. So I'll, you know, if anybody wants to check it out. The Mary Conrad cabin. 1845, William Rohrbaugh built the front half of what is now known as Mary Conrad Cabin in a tract of land southeastern Lewis County. The land had originally been patented by George Jackson, brother of Colonel Edward Jackson of Jackson's Mill. In 1855, George Conrad purchased the cabin and added the back half. It goes on a little bit more, but I'll just, like I said, do that and y'all can see it. I want to get a little bit of the cabin itself before my battery dies. Yeah, you can see the difference, front half, back half. You can tell. A lot of them, though, like I said, they did dog runs, is what they called back then. Just a way of separating the kitchen from the rest of the house. Little wagon. Look at that wooden wheel. Oh, look at that. That wheel is probably old. Look at that. And modern stuff in this one. It's like it's been modernized a little bit, but it has some stuff in it. There's an old spinning wheel right there. Boyhood home of General Thomas Stonewall Jackson. This is so cool, guys. Little rainy day just adds to it, if you ask me. I'm liking the rain. I'm wet, but I'm kind of liking it. Jackson's Mill. Like real history, guys. And just laid out right in front of you. Look at me. Alright, let's go find Heather. And this is the last of it, guys.
I think that's someone else.
Yeah, they've kind of moved some of the
Look at that bell
stuff.
on that sled. Can
Yeah,
you imagine
look at the
getting in
sled.
that? And 2 people fit in that.
Yeah, you get your little horse out and go get it. But anyway,
Yeah,
guys.
go in front of it just to give perspective
Yeah.
of how big it is. Can you imagine getting in there?
Yeah, yeah. It's rotten too, where it's been sitting outside.
All right, guys, we're going to go on to our next location. We hope you enjoyed this. My goal is to one day do a whole Stonewall Jackson documentary from birth to death. So I'll save these little clips, you know, and then one day put them all together in one little beautiful documentary. Doesn't that sound fun?
Sounds fun.
Okay. Well, thank you. We appreciate the support, and we hope you enjoyed staying warm while we got nice and rained on.
Yeah, so feel free to subscribe, you know, just say it.
Yeah. So if you're not subscribed, we'd really appreciate it. You can even do that if you're watching TV. It really helps us and it helps boost our channel. So
Yeah.
it's something free you can do to help us stay doing what we do. You know, it's all right. Thanks, guys. We appreciate it. And
See y'all
Hillbillies
later. Hillbillies out.
out.